I'm Ariel Millett with BYU-Idaho Radio, and today we're here in the studio with
Dean Coleman.
And Kristin Coleman.
Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Before we start getting into the safety initiative, can you guys tell me a little bit about yourself and kind of the inspiration of this thing that you guys have going on?
Sure. Well, I'm Kristin, and we moved here about 7 years ago from the Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia area. Dean left his career, he'll probably talk about it in a second, to come and teach on campus. And after a couple years of being here, learned more about some of the trafficking and exploitation issues, which kind of taps into what he had done professionally in his last career. And so we kind of thought we were moving away from that, but moved right back into it and have met some incredible people in the community that are leading the charge on that. And so our organization supports a lot of great efforts from different agencies and law enforcement, and we come up with solutions, but in a community collaborative volunteer kind of way.
Yeah, as Kristin alluded, the majority of my career was spent supporting federal government programs, primarily in the intelligence community. And within that work, I became very aware and familiar with a lot of the threats that we face in a variety of contexts, including the way that trafficking is used to fund a lot of other really bad things. And as we moved here to the area, we've had the unique opportunity to get to know the great things that happen in our area, as well as the opportunity, and I refer to it as an opportunity to become familiar with some of the challenges and risks that our children face here in this area, as our children do everywhere. But we're not spared from those, from that exposure and the risks and vulnerabilities in this area that others face other places, just because we're in kind of a protected valley area here. The same internet reaches Rexburg as it does everywhere else in the world.
That's well said. Can you give us a little closer look into what is the Upper Valley Safe Initiative and what it is for people who might not know or have heard of it in Rexburg?
Happy to. The Upper Valley Safe Initiative is an organization that Kristin and I and a team of other people that work with us, amazing individuals from across the community and across a lot of professional backgrounds and areas of expertise that have volunteered their time to come together as a volunteer-led, community-based organization. And we named it the Upper Valley Safe Initiative. SAFE is an acronym standing for Safety, Awareness, Freedom, and Education. And that really encompasses the areas of emphasis and focus that we have for the organization to focus on raising awareness, providing education, and empowering families, parents, and children to be able to do battle against the influences that they're facing in their homes, and to be able to address the areas of vulnerability that we face.
And we were really intentional with the people that we chose to start the organization. We continue to recruit people, continue to help us and join the initiative. But it really was to look at some of the best trainings that people have had professionally, how we scale that down to the most critical things that a community would need to know, and how do we bring it to them for free. And so the volunteers that work with us, we really assess what's happening in Rexburg. We also look at what's happening nationally. And then people come together to really problem solve and look at easily learned things that people can take home that day that really can change the landscape of the safety for their children and strengthen their homes.
Who can become a volunteer?
Well, we accept everybody.
College students?
Oh, absolutely. We work with interns. We have young professionals that have graduated from BYU-I. We work a lot with, there's just a huge cross-section. We work with a lot of therapists, practitioners. Like we said, we partner with law enforcement. with ICAC, the Internet Crimes Against Children, their unit, but just educators, really anybody in the community. We want them coming from different backgrounds, case managers that are dealing with these issues in unique, different ways. And then we sit down, and everybody's voice is very important. And that's how we come together and decide, how do we approach this? How do we do it the most effective way? And if we only had 45 minutes to talk to a child or to a parent, what would we put in that 45 minutes that's not lecture-based but experiential, so that they can retain it, so that it can be used immediately?
Can I add also, just to emphasize how close and great of a partner law enforcement has been here in the community, and to let citizens know how important these issues are to our law enforcement professionals. We work very closely with Chief Rhodes, with the Rexburg Police Department, also with the sheriff and the county sheriff's office, and the ICAC representatives at both the county and city level, and they care deeply. They're parents themselves. They care about the children of this community, and it's been really wonderful to partner with them and work so closely with them in preparing the workshops and to prepare the materials that we want to bring to people.
It also brings gravity to what we're doing. I always say they're as busy as anyone else. We all, we have families, careers. Everyone's trying, to do the best that they can. And so when you have this many people from this many different backgrounds coming and volunteering time on top of their day jobs, on top of their families and what they're trying to do, that speaks to the seriousness of what we're trying to accomplish. And it's because of them, it's because of the information that we get from them, that we put these workshops together.
Yeah, can you tell me a little more about this workshop that's coming up and who you guys are partnering with and what to expect, kind of all the details of it?
Well, it's this Saturday, so it's the 25th. It's at the Madison Junior High. It's from 5 to 7, and we are going to have, it's a workshop, so there's several different classes. There's a keynote speaker. In fact, faculty, Professor Scott Pope is going to be the keynote, who's doing a presentation on the anxious generation, and is going to talk about some of the cognitive decline that we have from digital use. He's incredible, but then we are having a workshop on pornography. We're going to hear from Lieutenant Hershey to know exactly what's happening in Rexburg. What we try to do is structure it so that people will have time to interface and ask questions. That's really important. We don't want people to come and feel like they're listening to a lecture, but to be able to ask questions to learn. And then one of the most significant things that we're going to be demoing that day is a school rollout that we just did the beta for just the last 2 months, which teaches children how to be safe in every aspect of their life, the most important things. And so we have interns that helped us with that, and faculty and various people, and that's going to be demoed for administrators, teachers to come and see what we're trying to get in the schools. We've been working with the superintendent and are very hopeful that school program is going to roll out this next year.
That's beautiful. What do you hope this event will do for the community?
I hope that it empowers families, that it gives them clarity. Dean says it perfectly. He just says we're trying to bridge or bring that gap closer from what kids are really facing and what parents think is happening. And so some of that's kind of a tricky balance, because parents, it's not that they're not engaged in their kids' lives. Sometimes they're unprepared or just not totally aware of what is happening.
Just underinformed.
Yeah, underinformed. So the real goal is that people leave feeling like they have practical tools, that maybe their insight, their idea about digital safety changes, but in a good way, that they are more dialed in to what's really happening, that it strengthens the relationships with their children. But we always say it's not to freak people out, and it's certainly not to shame anyone. it's to help you feel empowered so that you don't feel fearful about AI and some of the things that our kids face.
The workshop brings directly to parents, educators, and concerned citizens the resources and information that they need to address these vulnerabilities and risks. And you can't outsource the safety of our children. And the workshop brings the resources and material directly to parents to be able to bring back to their homes.
Is there a specific audience that you hope especially comes to the event?
That's an excellent question, and the short answer is it is open to all, any who are concerned or want more knowledge on these topics. We're inviting kids to come, ages 8 and up, that can benefit from the workshop as well. And Kristin can speak to one of the workshops that will that has been designed specifically for children. And we would particularly invite parents, grandparents, educators, and mental health professionals to come who would be able to particularly benefit from the workshop.
We always say once you learn some of these things, you can't unlearn it, but in the best possible way, because then your eyes are open everywhere you travel, the people that you interface with, any child that you see. But it's not just issues around children. It affects the family. It's any of these trafficking issues, but pornography. I mean, that's such a huge thing, and so is AI. Those advancements, we have got to put the same amount of energy that other people are putting in to do harm. We have to surpass that, and we can as a community. That's probably the biggest message that we want to convey. We can do this as a community, and on just a human level, we must. We need to come together, whether we have children or not. It's just the right thing to do.
When I was looking at your guys' social account, because you guys have an Instagram where you've been posting and putting more information about that, about your events and what this group is. And so I liked, you guys mentioned one of your posts that families today are navigating digital spaces, online risk, and real-world challenges that didn't exist a generation ago. Why do you think it's so important that they navigate and they learn how to face the digital world when it can be so scary and there can be so many things on it?
I don't think they have a choice not to. And a lot of people think that we're digital haters. We're not. Technology is important. It blesses the world. So it's not that we can't have technology. It's that you have to discern what the right technology is, and you have to protect yourself from the technology that can hurt you. So our workshops and even just the mission of our organization, it's to help families and children discern the right technology for them. But the advancements, the way that this, I mean, even when we're raising kids 8 or 9 years ago, if somebody had told me that we'd be dealing with some of the issues we do right now, I remember hearing Elder Bednar's talk on AI and walking away going, what is even happening? What are we talking about? AI relationships? And I can tell you now, as part of our school program, we have these different areas now that we're concerned about. One of them is human connection. We have to reinstill the importance of why you want to have a friend in person and not just online. Why you don't want to live in an echo chamber where an AI person would tell you exactly what you want to hear. The thought that we have to explain that now and teach that is almost unbelievable, but that's the landscape of where we're at. So it's helping educate on the right kind of technology and truly how to protect from the ones that will hurt you personally, spiritually, physically, and how we connect human to human. How do we keep those connections without isolating and turning to devices and other other things that don't bring the happiness, the fulfillment that we really want people to have in their lives.
We have now a couple of generations of our youngest generations that have grown up as digital natives. All they have known is a ultra connected environment, and that can bring a lot of benefits and amazing things. Myself, as a digital immigrant, so to speak, as a Gen Xer, coming into technology, I leverage technology and AI tools and social media platforms all day, every day in my work and in the work that we do with the Upper Valley Safe Initiative. So we're not, as Kristin said, negative about the tools and platforms that are available, but we need to be wise, and there's got to be judgment about the time and type of engagement that we choose. And as digital natives, if parents and those who have that perspective and can bring that wisdom are not sharing that with their children, where are they going to learn it? How are they going to know that? Because they don't know anything other than that growing up.
What do you hope, if you could say one thing to encourage someone to attend this event on Saturday, what would you say?
Ooh, I don't know what you'd say, Dean. I know what, in the last many weeks in speaking with different organizations, I will have parents come up and say, you know what, we feel really comfortable. We're using parental controls. We have time limits on, all the screen time for our kids. And my first response is always, that is awesome. We commend you. You literally are steps ahead of a lot of parents, and you're the exact parents we want at this workshop. You will learn things that you didn't know. Sometimes parents don't even know what to ask. That's why our relationship with law enforcement is so important, because they give us the real-time intel of what's really happening. Kids are really smart, and these tactics are beyond. And so I would just say, if you feel super comfortable where you're at with your technology in your home, please come to our workshop. We want to talk to you.
I love that and echo that. And I would just add that there are influences and forces that are absolutely adversarial to families and to the environment that most parents would intentionally want or choose for their children. The biggest risks that our children face today, though, are not out on the streets. They're through their devices. It's in their hands, in their homes. And so those influences, risks, and vulnerabilities are already inside the wire, so to speak. And so coming to the workshop is a way to engage in this. I call it a fight. This is a fight. This is a battle, and it is a way to engage in a meaningful way, in a proactive way, to arm yourself and equip yourself with the knowledge and tools that you need to be successful.
Mm-hmm. What again, to plug your event? Can you guys say what the event is and where it's at, just so everyone knows?
Absolutely. It is a free workshop that is being offered and sponsored by the Rexburg Police Department, Madison County Sheriff's Office, and Upper Valley Safe Initiative. It is this Saturday, the 25th, from 5 to 7 p.m. at Madison Junior High.
Thank you. This has been Abrielle Millett with BYU-Idaho Radio, and I've been here today with Dean Coleman and Kristin Coleman. Thank you guys so much. It's been so fun to interview you guys.
Thanks, Abrielle.
Thank you.